All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the OKRunShow, week number 7. Anyway,
I
coming
think.
out of coming out of a pretty big weekend. Pretty big weekend. Chili Pepper, OSU. Pryor went to the Desert Twilight out in Arizona. They got
Who?
no Pryor. Oh
Oh,
my
there you
god.
go.
You know how many schools that you know Shawn follows over here, figuring them
No, I
out.
follow a lot of schools, but
Right, right,
I
right, right.
listen, I've been busy having to do team rankings
Pryor's
and pro
5A.
rankings, and there ain't no one from Pryor that's on that ranking. So I've been having to peer through all the results that are Chili Pepper or
Pryor
Cowboy.
was out there. I caught that one.
All right.
I caught that they were out there. And there were some other decent races in the state. Not
Yeah, I think
not at OSU and Chili Pepper, but OSU and Chili Pepper had most everybody.
Bishop Kelly boys went to KU.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't run super well, but they didn't run bad. So I saw that.
I haven't seen that yet. I haven't looked at it. Went and looked at it, but went to Rimrock.
Hmm.
Rimrock's fun.
Yeah,
I've actually never raced there, even though I went to school 30 minutes away from it.
that'll do
So
it. That'll be it.
we never raced there collegiately. We always went to Missouri. We went to the state of
Hmm.
Missouri all the time. And yeah, so let's start with Chili Pepper. Start out in Arkansas. We're back in Arkansas for the second weekend in a row, having notable results. Shawn's gonna pull it up, share his screen. Of course, new
See this,
state
Colin?
lead came out of this race, so that's cool.
Can you see this?
I can see that. So
Hooray.
we're starting with the men's. Shawn, you
Yeah,
want
I
to take
just
it?
was what I had pulled up. Zachary Williams continues his very consistent season, 15-17 to PR. I mean, it's tough when you want to say like who's the best in the state. There's a couple kids that are in contention. I think he's definitely one or two. I mean, he's by far the most consistent time-wise that we've honestly, this is a hot take that we've maybe seen in a while because out of the four races he's ran 15:30 twice, 15:21 twice, and 15:17. That's pretty dang good. But you would like to see him maybe try to run 15 lower. That'd be awesome to see. But
As leader of the Zachary Williams hate camp, I need him to run. I need him to know that he's terrible. He's not good. He's never gonna break 15. Because
oh, this is important too. Cameron ran 15:44. Langdon.
good to see him coming back.
That's good to see. He ran at Deer Creek, didn't run great. I mean, he's a guy that last year I believe he was top five.
He's
And
the second fastest returner from the 3200 at state last spring. So
and
that usually bodes well.
he's a guy that could easily run up like under 15:30
Mm-hmm.
potentially. And that's important for when it comes to like championship time because I don't know how they're gonna do as a team. We kind of hyped them up coming into the season. I think we had some information that turned up not be true. I think we actually thought that
Ethan
Dominic
Brooks. Nope.
Matthias was gonna Ethan Brooks, sorry.
Ethan Brooks.
Thought that Ethan Brooks was gonna be on the team and then he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, if they put some pieces together, they're still a very good team. I think also, what else do you see here,
Maxton
Colin?
Barker out of Santa Fe,
Maxton
1551.
Barker. I think
Ethan
he's run under
Jones.
16 twice. Ethan Jones, 15:52. That's like the fifth or sixth time that Ethan Jones has run under 16. So
And Micah
good for
John
Ethan
under
Jones.
16
That's
PR.
huge. Sophomore from Deer Creek. That puts, I think, two Deer Creek athletes. One's under 16 and one's pretty low 16s. So that's good for them. Piedmont didn't race great, but I don't think that should be talked about much because were just in California. They've been getting after it.
Yeah, they've had a
I mean,
pretty heavy season so far.
I was honestly surprised that they were even here this weekend. I thought that they would take a break. 16:04, not great for Chili Pepper compared to what they've done, but that's still a good time, and I'm not concerned about Piedmont. They're still the best team in the state. Ty Brooks, 16:05. He's had a few very good performances. And then Aiden Evans from Bing. I didn't see this until now.
1608. No, he's been
16:08.
very solid this season. I mean,
Mhm.
he's in 4A. And so he's
Yeah,
gonna get it's like Jaden Polk out of Purcell. Like they both
exactly.
had really good seasons and they've actually raced each other. And They've both been really, 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 really good. But the problem is you have Zachary Williams, you have Ethan Jones, you have the
Yeah.
Lincoln boys, you have Dathan Custer, you have
Mhm.
like so many guys
There's a lot
that
of
it's
good
easy for
athletes.
him to get buried, and just as
Mhm.
easily as he could be like this 1608 is great, but the
Yeah,
1608 isn't
fantastic.
enough in that division, which is crazy,
hmm
you know?
And then you got Sepulpa. Sepulpa is a sneaky good team this year.
Yeah, shout out
People
Nick
haven't really been
Williams.
talking about them, but they've been. I mean, we'll actually talk about this in the podcast here in a few minutes, so I'll just not talk about it right now. But they've been good this year. Piedmont's technically they're number one.
Normally in
Yeah,
a normal race, but
time.
also like Paulie's usually with him. They're usually
Yeah,
pretty
it's
close. It's
usually
just
like till the
yeah.
end. Colson Robertson, Deer Creek,
Mhm.
Jacob Tiger out of Tahlequah. What about
Underrated
cover
5A guy
that
for
for the
sure.
boys? I'll go. Oh,
Flip to the team scores here. Actually, do you
oh
have
shoot,
those?
right.
Because we could
Yeah.
really see like who is the top Oklahoma team for everybody.
Piedmont and then Deer Creek was 5 points
Okay,
behind.
that's
Which
yeah.
you
Which
gotta
those
take
are
chili pepper with a grain of salt because there's so
big
many
races for sure.
athletes. But that's still very important. And it's also just cool to have two Oklahoma teams in the top five of chili pepper. That's not very common.
Hmm.
So that's huge. Edmond Santa Fe ran very well. They crushed
Yeah, not a team we normally talk about.
Lincoln,
Lincoln Christian didn't have a good day. Like,
Mustang,
but also I
Sepulpa,
don't know if they
each
raced
other.
everybody.
BA didn't run great. Deer Creek's
BA is not a team I care about too much in cross.
um
And yeah, I hate to say that, but yeah,
yeah,
they've been pretty lackluster, at least this year. Move to the
girls.
girls. Piedmont and Owasso, 2 and 3 is the
We'll go to
teams.
the individual. Bella Nelson, she was already the fourth ranked Oklahoman all time in the 5K, but she now just improved upon that. She's still the fourth ranked, but it's a new PR. So
Mhm.
1726.
Duggan's back.
Duggan's back,
Duggan, actually, I
1746.
saw some news on Instagram. She signed to go to Ole Miss.
Hmm,
Ole Miss, yeah.
good for her.
I saw that the other
Awesome.
day.
That's
By the
awesome.
other day, it probably was yesterday, and I'm forgetting.
hmm
Gwen
Here's Gwen.
Myers,
Here's Gwen Myers. So that's
another sub
three
18.
athletes from our state, sub 18
Mm-hmm.
at this kind of race is once again fantastic. There's Ava from
Mm-hmm.
Owasso, 1806.
Brooke Collins back to being
She ran
they just flop.
1802. Yeah, yeah.
Brooke and Claire flop.
I have to
Who's their
put
one?
them in the top 10, and I don't know what to do like every single week because I
Yeah.
honestly might just put like whatever I end up putting them on the like just put two of the same number.
No,
'Cause-
just literally just put the Collins sisters.
yeah, honestly, because I don't even know. And then
Mm-hmm.
I heard I think
That was their school record.
goal record 1813.
Mm-hmm.
Players right there.
She's better as the distances go longer.
Yeah. And
Like
then
she's
Ava
not.
Thompson out of
Mm-hmm.
Bing, I think that's a new school record, and I think it's a PR by like a minute and a half.
That's pretty big.
1832 is dang good.
That's good. Great
Yeah.
momentum going to the rest of the season.
Owasso's
Um,
three ran pretty well. Peyton Childers, Piedmont. Ava Tice's that's I think they're one for Westmore.
it is.
There's Deer Creek's one. We'll go team scores now. Rogers crushed, good lord. We don't have them in our state, but Piedmont number two. Um
Also,
Owasso three is a pretty
mhm.
big gap, but it's still significant. In this race, we had three of us in top five, so that's also
Women are better
good
than the
news
men,
for
at
Oklahoma.
least in Chili Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will
So
say, I think the men at OSU, the men's race at OSU for Oklahomans at least was stronger.
yeah. Speaking of that, I think we might as
Speaking
well
of
go ahead and move over there.
speaking of only the Oklahomans in the race,
Yeah.
it
So
was stronger at OSU than it was there, and then vice versa for the girls. Go ahead.
this is for the boys. Do you see anything here, Colin, that you specifically want
Yep.
to talk about?
That I specifically want to talk about. Mez Barth is my number one guy. This
That's fair.
is on the OSU course 1548 is low 15s on any other course because there's a couple factors with OSU. It's long.
Mm-hmm.
It is 100-ish meters long. If you kind of average out everybody's Stravas after the race,
Yeah.
it's about 100 meters long. It's about 3.2 ish. Everybody is
Yeah.
usually what they clock for the 5K. It's hilly.
Mm-hmm.
It is hilly. Benefit for Mez is he's run this course before and probably many times, being a Stillwater kid. But I mean, the dude he's legit, and yeah. I think he should be your number one guy just because of how consistent. But he just wins. He doesn't always run fast,
Mm-hmm.
but he also hasn't really went to a lot of courses that are, running fast material. Chili
Yeah,
Pepper, could he have broke 15 at Chili Pepper? I don't know. Maybe.
I think he could
Maybe
have.
maybe he runs, 15:40 as well there.
Yeah.
I don't
What's
know.
also
But
important to note too is that the guys that beat him, and then a couple guys that he ended up, I
mhm,
think Dylan Plath
he's very
specifically,
good out of Kansas. Yeah.
a lot
That
of
dude's
those
very good.
guys have ran like 15:05, 15:01, like maybe 8:50 in the 2 mile.
Yeah.
So he's right around
He's
guys
in
that
good
if
shape.
they were in our state
Yeah,
would be the best in the state.
for sure.
So,
And
you know,
Mez, my thing with Mez is also he in the spring peaks really, really well. Like he
yeah.
actually had his best race at the state meet. And in
Hmm.
Oklahoma, in hye school running in general, honestly, it's
Yeah.
rare for people to say that like I had my best race at state.
And what I found very interesting about this was their first mile was about 4:43-ish.
Yeah, it was way
I've
too
been a
hot.
part of a state meet, and I've also seen state meets that have gone out in 4:40 to 4:50. Will that happen this year? Hard to say, but that is important to note that he didn't fall off too horribly bad,
I will also
especially having
say,
all the hills.
I will
So
also say the first mile at OSU, take it
it's
with a
quick.
grain of salt for one
Yeah.
reason. It is downhill for a kilometer. You have a
Hmm.
slight little climb for a little bit, well, slight
For
compared to
sure.
the rest of the
For
course.
sure.
And then it's kind of flat until you hit the mile. The mile
Yeah.
is kind of on that little hill on the western loop, but it is like it's a fast first mile
Yeah.
for sure. Plus the
It
excitement of a
is.
race. It's
And I think it's
it's
just,
indicative they're going to go out in
yeah.
4:43. 4:43 to me is like, okay, yeah, makes sense that they would go out in 4:43
Hmm.
for a bunch of guys that like on a normal course would go out in 4:43 and run 4:43 the rest of the way.
Yeah.
You
And I
know,
think it's just, wow, who knows what's going to happen if it goes out hard at state. I think
it's high school running. They're
he
going to take it out hard.
they're going to go out hard, and he's probably the best.
He's the
I don't know.
strongest.
He's
He's
probably the
the,
strongest,
I
and
say he's the strongest. He's the guy I know that'll still be there even if they go out hard.
hmm
He's
exactly.
consistent. I mean, again, unless he has some speed that I have never seen before,
Yeah.
he's not known to be a speed guy. He's really strong, and he will one day, wherever he goes to college, he'll make a hand at the 5 and the 10K.
Yeah, and he's
He'll
definitely
be
the type of athlete that's
that type.
probably going to try to do most of his stuff in the middle of the race. Because I mean, if you have an athlete like, I don't know, I mean maybe kid from Jinx who has a lot of speed, you don't want to get into the last 200 of a cross country race with him.
Mhm.
But it's a matter of what happens from mile 2 to like 2.8, I think, where most of it's going to be done. Because I mean, at state, it'll probably be close for 2 miles, and then that's going to be when
Mhm.
things will either separate or you'll have a group, and then it's a kick. So it just kind of depends. But um, let's see, Colin. What else?
Bias,
Dominic
yep.
Matthias. That's a good performance in my mind. I mean,
Still
16-14
solid.
that course.
It was a very freshman race for him, but
Hmm.
you need those to learn. I don't put too
Learned
much
a
grain of
lot, I'm
salt.
sure.
I still
Yeah,
believe he's the third best guy in the state, regardless of
I agree.
class.
I agree.
I still believe that. I think he's the second best in 6A.
And he beat Kid from
He beat
Jinx,
Brody Mason. Yep.
I
Um,
mean, that's still a good time for that course as well. So, I mean, I would say
no, they're
all
very,
three
yeah.
guys ran
Convert them,
great.
they're still sub 16.
And then Dathan Custer, 16:30. Heck of a run out of him.
He's a good runner. He ran 15:40 something at state last year. He was actually their top returner in 4A. He's just he lives out in Woodward, so everybody forgets about him.
Hmm.
And only because I'm from the same area and actually know the kid, like I'm the only one that'll like talk about him most of the time. But
Yeah.
he's very good. He's strong. I mean, again, another guy, not a big speed guy.
Hmm.
Kind of will eventually be a 5-10K guy one day, but very, very strong. And he like ran it more intelligently than most, I think,
Yeah.
because he was kind of back a little bit, and then he kind of worked his way through the pack through the whole thing. And Levi Haynes not far behind there as well.
Yep.
Kind of your
Right
3A
around
favorite.
him. And then I mean you got
Madden
this
Rutherford,
is
good.
significant to me because now those are two guys, that
Yeah,
are
two dudes that like,
pretty dang good.
yeah,
So
two guys that genuinely could be low sticks, but I think
yeah,
they're like in that 10 to 15 range at state
uh-huh.
meet.
And
Clay McKinney, yep,
didn't run great.
not his best day for sure, but
But it happens. I
yeah,
mean, there's jinxes too. Not horrible out of that.
hmm
Zachary Lewis, but Edmond Memorial, man, this is a force right here. Are
yeah,
are they Piedmont? Probably not.
they're
But
Piedmont, but a bit slower.
but
Or
37,
they're more
38,
like the Deer Creek of
40,
old, where they were
41.
like
Yeah,
last year's Deer Creek. They
47.
were not very like spread out,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, they're just not quite as quick. Bly
Yeah.
was in that. Probably your Class A champion.
Yeah. And they got fourth as a team. They
Yeah,
crushed Jinx, Edmond North,
tight spread, not really a
Regent.
low stick. There,
Yeah.
that's a recipe to be like a sneaky like second or third estate.
That's what I'm thinking
Like
too.
that's a definite recipe to be like you'll be top five at that. It's probably not what it would take to win. You probably need a little more of a low stick.
Why
But
not?
honestly, Piedmont this year, they don't have one guy that I'm like, oh, that's a stud.
Yeah, but like
They don't,
I just feel like when you look at the teams for like
but they're
six
like,
boys,
mhm.
does any of the top teams, like truly top teams, have a stud? Stud.
The
I
only
mean,
one you could argue
Jinx,
maybe is like Mustang with like
but
Langdon
Jinx
and or
is,
Thayer.
yeah,
Jinx, but Jinx like doesn't have a ton of depth.
yeah.
You know,
So
like
it's
you look
just
at the
tough.
look at the like how they ran here. 12, 31, 50, and then it was
And then drop.
88,
Yeah.
123. Like versus Memorial, they were between 32 and 41.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy. Like, you know.
Yeah. That's wild. So it's
And
tough to
then
say, but
North looks pretty good through about four
mhm.
guys, and then they kind of fly backwards. Um, yeah, Regent, 2A school.
Yeah. Um, I think that brings us to team.
Team,
So on the
Shawn.
admin, we kind of have access to this. These aren't like perfect because it's off
Yes.
of the best time ran by that athlete this season, and that can be very hit or
And then
miss.
it scores yeah.
I think Piedmont's the number one in my opinion, and I think,
Yeah, I don't think it's like an argument really.
but then I think two through like five or six can be argued. I
I still
personally
would put Deer Creek second.
think
Just
Deer
because like
Creek
we
is
know how
second,
consistent they are. They're always
and it's
relevant.
also we still have about a month till state, and Deer Creek is the deepest team in Oklahoma. Maybe Piedmont, but the fact that I'm pretty sure their JV had a few guys break 17 at Chili Pepper, and if somebody gets hurt, they're not totally screwed. That's kind of what I mean. Is that like you got, I mean, like right here, you got four guys that could probably be in that top five group, and then you got a few on JV that if someone goes down, they're not out of it.
Mm.
Is it going to be enough to take down Piedmont? I don't really know. Piedmont's got three guys under 16. Their other two are very close. They've got like two right here. They got a couple on JV. So Piedmont's going to have like a just a bad day, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, Um, Lincoln's interesting because personally, a lot of people would switch these two, and I think even more so recently, Edmond Memorial's all the way down here because they all didn't run very fast at
No,
uh, what
but
is it, Cowboy Jamboree.
no, they didn't.
But that doesn't really mean a whole lot because
Hmm
they were fourth and beat Jinx by pretty handily. So
Yeah.
they're more in that top five group. Edmond North too is probably up there, a little
Yeah, they
higher
look
than
very
seven.
solid. I think they could be probably ceiling third
Mhm.
state.
So I mean, BA is pretty high. That's
Hmm
off of Rogers. BA and Jinx are your like Tulsa area schools that are probably for 6A that are probably gonna be those top groups. I think Sapulpa's 5A.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, you got Mustang, kind of like we said. They've got a
Hmm.
really solid first three.
Yeah, they just don't have any depth, which
That fourth isn't
hurts.
even like
No,
that
it's
could be
not
a tough,
bad.
but
It's
fifth
just like it
is
won't be
just
enough.
for this season and how fast it is, you really
Yeah.
need five guys that are under 1640 to even
Yeah.
like have a chance at top three, top four, top five.
Hmm.
Jink's kind of a similar story. I don't know how well Finn Keeley has run outside of Rogers. I
Mm.
haven't looked into that. They've got their top guy who probably top five at state, maybe top three, might win. Like,
Yeah, if the race plays into his hands,
flat,
yeah, it
this
could.
is, he could easily place top 15.
Hmm.
Like,
Wouldn't be shocked.
Tyler Irwin, if he has a good day, like top
He's
20,
probably, yeah.
so then it's just a matter of how those last two or whoever else is in there.
Hmm.
And it's also tough when your six as a whole is 1806 because if
Yeah.
someone
So,
goes down, you're screwed.
mhm.
Bishop Kelly 5A, they're probably the favorite. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't see anybody
So Pulpa's
else.
2, Tahlequah's probably
And
3.
then Lincoln 4A.
Hmm.
Lincoln's good. They've just had some rough.
They're men. The men of Lincoln, they're kind of I hate to say a shoe in, but they're kind of a shoe in for a.
Yeah, we'll go to the
Go
girls.
to the girls, show everybody
I haven't even looked at this, but
the generated team
I,
rankings.
I think that's not even a question.
No, it's not even a question, and it's not a question 2, and I don't even know if it's much of a question for 3.
Yeah.
Except for Jinx. I
Well,
don't know. Jinx
actually,
is
that's close.
yeah, maybe more close than I thought. Jinx and yeah, Deer Creek.
Because I mean, you've got two from Jinx that are
Yeah,
probably
they
going to
also have
run a
2
Deer
like
Creek's one.
low sticks, like
Mhm.
genuine low sticks. 2
Yeah,
people that I wouldn't be shocked are like
top 10,
5. I think
top
they're
five.
they're gonna
Yeah.
be in the like 4 through maybe even 3 through
Hmm.
more Charlie Keeley closer to 3, um,
To
through like
10,
8 to
probably.
10. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're somewhere the top 10 for sure.
And I mean, yeah, no, I would agree. Lincoln, they have a solid squad. They're
Hmm.
the favorite in 4A. Unless Paul's Valley.
Paul's Valley is good. Paul's Valley, their problem is if it was a state championship through 4, they
Mm,
beat Lincoln Christian. Their 5 hurts them so bad. Like they're
yeah.
hobbled by their fifth.
Yeah. They got Bishop Kelly,
Bishop
probably
Kelly is your
favorite.
favorite for
In my
5A, and I
opinion,
don't think
yeah.
it's close.
He's gonna win most likely.
Yeah, another, yeah.
And then North, pretty solid, honestly. I don't
Hmm.
think it's gonna be enough. They could finish top three, maybe fourth or fifth.
Ceiling 3.
Because you got Emma Johnson, who
Yeah.
is could be a top five, top three, maybe. And then, after that, you got a pretty consistent two, three,
Yeah,
four
you
right
kind
here.
of have a pack right there, and then another
Evan
kind of 2 little
Memorial.
packs. Memorial's good.
Hmm.
Memorial, which is crazy because Sienna has she's run quicker than 19,
Hmm.
whatever it says for her. Moore is solid. They're really solid through like 3 girls, 2, 3 girls. Because like
Hmm.
Coberly was like their 2 at
Yeah.
and then also Sienna's run like 18 something.
Like 18-20, I think.
Yeah, well, she ran like that 17 at that course that was like maybe 1750 or whatever.
Hmm.
And then she's run 18 low, like 18 under 1830 at least once. So I don't know.
Yeah.
They just don't have that in here. Moore's solid. Paul's Valley. That's not even oh wait, never mind. There it is, Paul's Valley.
I think that's right. Yeah, those
Paul's
three.
Valley, that is correct. Paul's Valley, I think that's correct. I think Hamilton is maybe run a little quicker. It's
Hmm.
run like 19 flat, maybe just under. Um,
Santa Fe is not going to do anything to the team.
Not as a team, no. And if they get the wrong region, they don't make it. At Edison's, you're like a pretty good 5A, but not. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, that's not enough.
They've really only got one.
The Jade's pretty good. She'll probably be top 5 at state. Kate, I think their second girl also is very solid.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
isn't usually too far back from Jade, which is kind of more
Great.
what I look at rather than the time. Regent, they're because this is 5K times,
That's true.
and most of your small schools honestly never even run a 5K.
Yeah.
It's if we had a 3,200 or we could convert them to 5K, Hooker and those girls are very close. And I think Hooker is probably a little better. They've got a little more depth. We can see, yeah, let's see some 3,200-meter girls, which is also kind of misleading too, because Alva, all those times came from the short Cherokee course. Hennessy's not as good as that shows.
And I mean,
It's
small
so
school,
hard because even though it
not
gets
3 miles.
worse at the smaller schools with how poorly measured they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate those. They're not that great of a ranking, but I mean they're still solid teams. But a team like Southwest
See,
Covenant,
this is way off. Way off.
yeah,
This
no,
is
it's
right.
way off. Yeah, it's not
This
even
is
close.
probably right.
That one's probably correct, but also
But
not
these are
correct at the same time. Yeah, it's not.
I
Yeah, I
believe that's
wouldn't.
Ava Thompson, and I mean she just ran
Yeah, it's
18:30, so that makes sense. But
I wouldn't trust these.
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't trust those. Yeah. So is that everything we wanted to cover today? Shawn, where's our next place we're going? I know we travel again sometime.
COAC conference at Deer Creek.
Coac.
Oh,
What weekend is that?
Tuesday. It's
Oh,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
October
Ah, okay.
15th.
I'm kind of okay with that,
Um,
weirdly.
yeah, same.
I'm okay with that because
Kind of
that
nice
means
having a weekend, you know.
it is nice having weekends,
Um,
especially when we
so
have
we'll
home
be
football
there,
games.
and that's JV State. So
JV State,
that's honestly,
pretty
we kind of
much.
had a decision here where it was like there's a Wasso here in 2 days, there's Frontier Valley Conference, there's something else, and I was just like, there's been more hype around JV State, and there has a lot of things, so I figured it'd be fun for us to go,
I think it's gonna be a great
and I
time.
think it's good for those athletes too,
Mhm.
because they get some coverage, we'll get some interviews,
We're
it'll
gonna
be
get for
fun.
sure winning team of JV State. You're getting an interview.
Well, hey,
Winning
I
individual.
made the deal on the story post that whoever
Oh,
runs sub 17 gets featured in an article. Top
okay.
three
It's featured
teams,
article.
top
Featured
three teams.
article will bring you on the pod.
Yeah.
Will you just be a guest? Like you'll literally sit here
If
doing this
anybody
pod with
runs
us.
sub 16:45, you'll get in the
There
pod.
you go. Sit up
Yeah.
16:45.
We can't
You're
put the level at
you're a
17.
guest. You're a guest feature on the pod. You're literally gonna sit here with Shawn and I and talk about results and how we're dumb and that some other team's gonna your team, probably Deer
Yeah.
Creek, is going to be the state champions over Piedmont.
Yeah.
Which this is kind of okay. NAU's last national championships was the first year where it's like they're not supposed to win and then they won. So a weird part of me goes, Deer Creek's not supposed to win, so they're gonna win. And I don't know if I love or I hate that. Like that I think that
Yeah. See,
sneaking
honestly,
suspicion that something's gonna happen and Deer Creek's gonna get it just right, and maybe Piedmont kind of implodes at the end, of the season. And because Piedmont also, a little historical context here, there were some years where they were very, very strong
and they
with
would
their top
implode.
three with Paul Welsh, Blake Cope,
Yeah, that's true.
Barker, Jaden Barker, I think was his name. They were really, really strong. And they were like, no way can Guyman beat us. No way. They're not going to get us
Yeah.
again. Well, Guyman won 4 out of 5 years.
That even happened with like Ferris and Tanner and I think Beckham
Yeah.
once.
Once. Yeah. So I'm not rooting for this. I hope everybody has the best day of their life at state. I hope everybody breaks 16 minutes. I hope everybody crushes. I want every team to win. I really do.
Yeah.
But we can't all win. Some people are going to have good days. Some people are going to show up and they're going to absolutely crap the bed. And so is life. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Like
It'd be
March Madness, I
crazy.
root for chaos.
It'd be crazy. I think that if it's not Piedmont, kind of like what we already talked about, because of how deep Deer Creek is,
Deer Creek is super
how
deep, and it's kind of
we know they will peak at the right time, and we know
they
they
always
are
do.
coached well. Not that Piedmont's not coached well.
They are.
They are
Piedmont's also coached well,
but if a
but
bad day happens to Piedmont and Deer Creek runs a good day,
yeah,
it's not impossible.
Piedmont just needs to not have a bad day. They can have an okay day and still probably win.
Yeah.
They can have an average day. So what the guys need to do is they need to approach it like it's any other race. They don't need to build up some narrative in their head that
100%.
they're probably maybe the smallest 6A school because they're one of the more recent additions to the class.
I
So
would assume so.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming they're one of the smaller ones. They
Yeah.
come in there and they go, oh, it's 6A, it's all this, that, sometimes we have a history of not doing good at state meet. Or they go, well, we got to put the pressure on ourselves to just show up and race. Just show up and race and run a pretty I don't want to say conservative because I don't want you to go out and just get too far buried and not be able to come back. But just go out there and race the same guys you're normally around, whether it's a teammate or a competitor you're always near. Just be near them, and it'll probably work out in the end where you win. But if you try to go out there and be a hero and you blow up because you're like, well, this is our final year. Oh, we better do it this year. We better, we got a redemption for guys like Dade and Beckham and all those guys that, may have missed state titles that they should have won. You just go out there and race. Just go out there and have an average day.
Exactly.
Be average, Piedmont. Be average. Your own average. Average for yourself, not average for the whole state. Obviously, that would mean you're in the middle-ish. But just be average. And you could probably beat Deer Creek. You'll be the team that you're the reason that Deer Creek didn't win however many consecutive, some crazy statistic you can look back on in 10 years. You'll be the reason. So go be that reason by being average. Yeah, anyway, that's my rant for the week. Shawn, weekly tradition.
Oh no.
Wisdom for the kids. Wisdom for our 100 of viewers. We get about 100 viewers a week. So the 100 viewers a week love Shawn wisdom.
Oh man, do they? Well,
yeah, I get letters in the mail saying that I need more Shawn wisdom. Get us more Shawn wisdom.
Yeah. All right. That this sport is what you choose it to be. I think what you put into this sport, it will give back to you. And yeah.
So it's like a Roth IRA.
Yep.
Do you know what a Roth IRA is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I think that's the new saying that this sport is like a Roth IRA.
It's a Roth IRA, man. It's a retirement fund. Come on, guys.
And I think what I mean though is that if you put in a lot of effort, you're gonna see the results. Even if it isn't in times, you'll see it in other areas of your life too. I think this, as cliched as it is, this sport teaches you a lot about yourself and about other people. And if you allow yourself to fully embrace it, you'll learn a lot.
All right. On that bombshell, it is time to end. Thank you, everybody who sat through this and listened to us. We appreciate it. Please send all your hate mail to my address in Stillwater. All right. See you guys.